That morning felt ordinary. I clocked in before sunrise. Coffee in hand, bitter, burnt. The load sheet looked routine. Same quarry, same weight. Nothing unusual, or so I thought. At dispatch, my regular route was crossed out. They were blasting again at Harper Ridge. The clerk was just a kid, barely 20, messy hair, tired eyes. He pointed at the map. A faint line split off the main road. "Mill Creek access," he said. "Shortcut to Pit 7? I stared. Never heard of it. "Old logging trail," he claimed. I didn't argue. My rig was solid. A Kenworth T800, fresh tires, full tanks, tools ready. I figured worst case I'd crawl it slow. But the moment I turned onto Mill Creek, I knew something was wrong. No gravel, no upkeep. Deep ruts frozen in the dirt. Trees pressed close. Branches scraped the mirrors. It didn't feel like a road. It felt like the forest was taking it back. I kept moving. Mile 1 was rough but fine. Mile 2 went strange. The ground didn't just rise or fall. It rolled. Like driving over frozen waves. My stomach lagged behind the motion. Every time the truck leveled, the road pitched again. By mile 3, my hands were slick with sweat, and the trees began to repeat. I saw the same crooked maple, leaning on a boulder with moss shaped like a boot print. I passed it once, then again, and again. The 4th time I stopped, I stepped out and marked the trunk with red chalk. A big X. Half a mile later, there it was again. Same tree, same moss. No mark. My gut dropped. I killed the music. The radio hissed static. My phone showed SOS. No bars. Then the fog rolled in. At first it hugged the ground like stage smoke. Then it thickened fast. One moment I saw the hood. The next I couldn't see 2 feet ahead. I slowed to a crawl, 5 miles an hour. Floodlights were useless. The fog swallowed them whole. The rear camera went black. No error. Just gone. Something moved along the trailer's edge. Quick, hugging the shadows. Then I noticed the passenger seat belt. Buckled. Neat. Tight. Against an empty seat. I froze. I hadn't touched it. I hadn't even fastened my own belt. I never heard a click. I stomped the brakes. The truck groaned and idled low. Silence settled heavy. No wind, no movement. Then came a sound. Tap, tap, tap. Light steps skidded across the roof, sharp like claws on steel. I cut the engine. The fog pressed against the glass. Still, unmoving. Crowbar in hand, flashlight up, I stepped out. I circled the rig. Nothing. At the back, the gravel shifted. Not sliding. Not settling. Rising, like something beneath was breathing. My light caught it. The load pulsed once, twice. That was enough. I scrambled into the cab. Doors locked. Ignition on. The road ahead was gone. Just a white drop into nothing. I shifted to reverse. Behind me, the trees stood tight, where open road had been minutes before. The radio crackled. Not dispatch. My own voice bled through. Passed the same tree 4 times. Rear cam dead. Passenger belt buckled itself. It wasn't a recording I'd made. It was the road repeating me. I ripped the mic out. The cab light blinked once, twice, then darkness. I snapped and floored the pedal. Didn't care what waited ahead. Road, ditch, or empty air. I just needed to move. Somehow I broke through. The fog thinned. Gravel appeared. Machines. Pit 7. I swung into the lot with brakes screaming. A worker ran from the shack, yelling. I didn't stop. I rushed to the bed. The gravel looked normal, except one place dead center. A perfect ring of displaced stone. And in the middle, on bare steel, a rust-colored handprint. Small. Palm up. 5 fingers. The next morning I asked dispatch about Mill Creek. The older clerk frowned. Mill Creek washed out in '91, he said. A landslide buried the trail. Nobody's used it in decades. Nobody offers tips. It's not that kind of thing. You just learn over time. That there's a reason drivers avoid Palmer's Climb. I'd been up that stretch a few times before, always daytime, always with chatter on the radio. Someone 10 minutes behind, another a few ahead. You don't notice the silence as much when someone else is there. But this time, it was different. Solo run. Midnight freight. Light trailer. I was hauling sealed chemical drums. Paint base or some kind of coating agent. Picked up from a plant in Castle Hill. Delivery scheduled at Ridgemont Depot by sunrise. The load was nothing unusual. Drums sealed tight. Weight spread fine. Trailer barely pulling on the hitch. The ride was smooth. Until the fog. It came in out of nowhere. Right after Myrtle's Notch, it wrapped the mirrors. By the time I reached Palmer's Climb, it was soup. Thick, heavy, high beams only bounced back in my face. The kind of fog that makes your own headlights lie to you. I rolled the windows down. Cold air biting my skin. Better to freeze than to fall asleep. Somewhere near the fourth curve, I saw headlights. Coming down the grade. Not the bright white most rigs throw now. These were dim amber, old halogen glow. I dipped my beams. So did he. It was an old river cab-over. Late 70s, maybe early 80s. Square face, stacked grill, tall mirrors, rust bleeding from the seams. As he passed, I saw the driver's silhouette. Head bent low, shoulders hunched, like he was riding the edge of exhaustion. I thought nothing of it. Just another tired man on the road. But 10 minutes later, I came around a long right curve and saw the same lights, now ahead of me, climbing. I slowed down, confused. There was no way he looped back, no exits, no turnarounds, nothing but rock, trees, and the edge of the mountain. I followed from a distance, 100 feet back, watched him crest the ridge and vanish. Minutes later, he passed again. This time downhill, same lights, same truck, same silence. But I noticed the cab rocking, like something heavy inside was sliding loose. He didn't steer, didn't fight it. The truck drifted slow, like gravity had it on a leash. That was enough for me. I pulled into the only turnout I knew, a gravel patch halfway up, barely enough for the cab to fit. I killed the lights, left the engine idling low. No signal on the phone, no voices on the radio, only wind dragging through the trees, like it was searching. I grabbed my flashlight, stepped out, climbed the slope beside the road. 30 feet, maybe, grabbing roots, shoes sliding on gravel, knees barking the whole way. When I looked down, I froze. No sound of tires below me, not ahead, not behind. They were above. I turned slowly, raised the beam, and there it was. The cab over, rolling sideways across the ridge. Not downhill, not climbing, just sliding across bare rock. No engine, no diesel groan, just a dry scrape of rubber over stone. The headlights flickered, more like candles than beams. And then I saw his face, or what was left of it, head tilted wrong, mouth hanging open, like he was screaming. But no sound came out. Hands frozen on the wheel, locked, like they'd been bolted there. The truck drifted forward, slid across the ridge, and dipped over the far side. Gone. I stumbled down the slope, fast, half sliding, slammed into the cab, locked the doors, didn't breathe for 10 minutes. When I drove again, I didn't use brights. Didn't stop, didn't even blink too long. I just drove steady, all the way to Ridgemont. The kid at the dock looked at me, said I looked wiped out, asked if I hit rough road. I just told him I hadn't slept much. He laughed, said I should switch to night hauls full time. I didn't laugh back. That might have been it. Just another strange night I never mentioned. But weeks later, at Atlee Terminal, I was flipping through logbooks. Old-timer named Stan leaned over my sheet. "Palmer's Climb," he said. I didn't answer. He nodded slow. "You saw the river." Then he told me the story. Said back in '74, a cab over went down on that stretch. Brakes failed. Trailer full of fresh tar. It flipped off the ridge. Took 3 days to drag the drums back up. But they never found the driver. Not a body. Not even his boots. The cab was wedged between pines. Engine still warm. And then Stan looked at me. Said he never left the climb. Said he only shows up for drivers who are alone. Running light. Drivers who can be followed.